The world beyond my apartment walls always seemed vast and unmanageable, a chaotic expanse where I felt like a mere speck. But within these walls, in my small cozy living room, I found a refuge. It was here that my aquarium stood, a serene little world of its own, teeming with vibrant life. I often found solace in the gentle hum of the filter and the soft rhythmic dance of the fish. It was my escape from the mundane routine of my life. My fascination with my aquarium was more than a mere hobby. Each fish was a character in a silent play, their bright colors and fluid movements offering a silent comfort to my introverted nature. I would sit for hours, coffee in hand, watching them glide effortlessly through the water, lost in my thoughts. It was during one of these quiet evenings, the room lit only by the soft glow of the tank, that I first noticed something peculiar. The fish, usually so independent in their movements, began to swim in unison, their bodies aligning in a strangely deliberate pattern. At first, I dismissed it as a curious quirk of their behavior. But as days passed, these formations grew more intricate, more intentional. They weren't random, they were symbols. I leaned in closer, my breath fogging the glass, as the fish swam in a circular pattern, their bodies curving and aligning in a way that was almost ritualistic. It was mesmerizing, hypnotic even, and a chill ran down my spine. There was something unnerving about seeing these mindless creatures perform such a coordinated act. It felt like a message, a code I was compelled to decipher. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would lead me into the depths of the unknown, a journey that would unravel the very fabric of my reality. Curiosity soon turned into an obsession. Each day, I found myself eagerly waiting for the evening, for my private aquatic show to unveil its mysteries. I started recording their movements, playing back the footage, pausing at moments when the fish formed clear patterns. It was on one such night, eyes strained and mind racing, that I saw a distinct symbol, an almost perfect circle with intricate lines radiating from its center. It was unlike anything I'd seen in nature art. Compelled to understand, I turned to the internet, diving into forums and ancient texts, seeking anything that resembled this enigmatic design. It was deep in the digital archives of an obscure maritime history forum that I found a match. The symbol was identical to an ancient rune associated with a long-forgotten sunken city, a place of legend and dark tales. According to the legends, this city was once home to a mysterious civilization, one that had mastered the secrets of the sea, only to be swallowed by its depths in a cataclysmic event. The symbol was said to be a mark of the city, a sign of its power and knowledge. Sleep became a distant memory as I dug deeper. The story spoke of otherworldly beings, of a cult that worshipped these aquatic entities, believing them to be gods. There were chilling accounts of sailors and adventurers who had encountered these symbols and were never heard from again, their fates forever lost to the sea. Each discovery sent shivers down my spine, but I couldn't stop. The fish, with their mysterious dance, had opened a door, and I felt compelled to look into the abyss that lay beyond. I was no longer just a quiet observer of a small aquarium, but a seeker of hidden truths, standing on the precipice of a world unknown and terrifying. As the days blurred into nights, the fish in my aquarium became increasingly synchronized in their movements. The symbols they formed grew more complex, more frequent. It was as if they were trying to communicate, their silent aquatic ballet a desperate message from the depths. The air in my apartment felt heavier, charged with an unseen energy that made my skin prickle with unease. My obsession consumed me. I pored over ancient texts and online forums late into the night, trying to decipher the symbols. The more I learned, the more isolated I became, my friends' calls and messages left unanswered. The world outside my apartment seemed distant, irrelevant. All that mattered were the fish and their cryptic dance. But as my research deepened, so did the strangeness surrounding me. Objects in my apartment began to move inexplicably. Books would fall from shelves, pictures would tilt on walls, and I often caught glimpses of shadows darting in the corner of my eye. At night, I'd lay awake, listening to the eerie whispers that seemed to emanate from the aquarium, a chorus of voices speaking a language I couldn't understand. I started to document these occurrences, my rational mind trying to make sense of it all. But there was no rational explanation. The fish were no longer just pets, they were conjured to something ancient, something beyond my understanding. The climax of my research came one stormy night. I had stumbled upon an old maritime journal, its pages yellowed with age, detailing the rites of a cult that worshipped sea entities. The rituals described were eerily similar to the patterns my fish were making. As I read, a cold dread settled in my heart. The journal spoke of a final symbol, one that would open the gates to the underwater city, unleashing its forgotten power. That same night, as thunder rumbled outside, the fish began their dance again. This time, their movements were frantic, desperate. They swirled around the tank, faster and faster, their bodies blurring into a whirlpool of scales and fins. And then, in a chilling moment of clarity, they formed the final symbol. The water in the tank began to swirl violently, creating a vortex that seemed to defy the laws of physics. I stood frozen, unable to look away, as a ghostly apparition emerged from the depths of the tank. It whispered in a voice that filled the room, a voice that seemed ancient and otherworldly. The words were indecipherable, yet they resonated in my mind, visions of the sunken city flashing before my eyes. The room around me transformed, the walls melting away to reveal a vast, dark ocean, its waters teeming with shadows and forgotten souls. I was in the heart of the abyss, facing the lost secrets of the deep, a realm where reality and nightmare merged into one. Panic gripped me as the once familiar walls of my apartment twisted into this nightmarish underwater realm. The ghostly whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices that seemed to echo from the depths of time. My mind raced, struggling to grasp the reality unraveling before me. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding in my chest. The visions of the sunken city were overwhelming, images of twisted spires and shadowy figures haunting the murky waters. The apparition hovered before me, its form shifting and pulsing, as if made of the very essence of the sea. Desperation took hold. I knew I had to break this connection, sever the tie that bound my world to the abyss. With trembling hands, I reached for the aquarium, the source of this nightmare. I pushed it, watching in horror and relief as it shattered on the ground, the water spilling out like a flood of released spears. The apparition let out a wail, a sound that seemed to vibrate through the very core of my being, and then it vanished, the swirling waters with it. The visions faded, the haunting images of the city sinking back into the darkness from which they came. I was left in the ruins of my living room, the shattered pieces of the aquarium scattered around me. The fish were gone, vanished with the water that had been their home. But the symbols, those hunting designs they had formed, were now etched into the hardwood floor where the tank had stood, a permanent reminder of the abyss that had touched my life. In the days that followed, I tried to return to normalcy, but the experience haunted me. The whispers had stopped, the shadows had receded, but the sense of an unseen presence lingered. I moved out of the apartment, unable to bear the weight of what had transpired, but the memory of that night, of the apparition and the sunken city, remained etched in my mind. My life after the incident was like wandering through a fog, the edges of reality blurred and uncertain. I found myself in a new apartment, a new neighborhood, but the shadows of that night in my old living room never left me. I tried to tell myself it was all a product of stress, a hallucination, but the symbols etched in the floor of my old apartment were too real, too tangible. I avoided aquariums, the sight of them bringing an involuntary shiver down my spine. But sometimes, on quiet, lonely evenings, I found myself missing the gentle hum of the filter, the serene dance of the fish. It was a bittersweet longing, tinged with fear and fascination. The symbols became an obsession for others. My story, shared in hushed tones on online forums, turned into an urban legend. Some dared to visit the old apartment, now empty and forlorn, to catch a glimpse of the mysterious etchings. But for me, they were a reminder of a door I had opened to a world best left unexplored. And still, in moments of solitude, I caught myself seeing those patterns elsewhere in the clouds, in the arrangement of leaves, in the swirls of coffee in my cup. Each time, a chill would run down my spine, a silent question lingering in my mind. Was the connection truly severed, or was a part of me still lost in the depths of that underwater abyss? I moved through life with a new sense of caution, a wariness of the unknown. The experience had changed me, left a mark as indelible as the symbols on the floor. The abyss had gazed into me, and in its depths, I had seen something ancient and terrifying, a truth too vast and dark for the human mind to hold. So, I lived with the constant nagging thought that somewhere, in the deep, dark recesses of the world, it was still out there. The city, the beings, the secrets of the deep, they were hidden, but not gone. And in my most vulnerable moments, I wondered if they too remembered me, if our paths would ever cross again. For now, there remained whispers of a nightmare, echoes of a reality too horrifying to face, a truth lurking just beneath the surface of my everyday life.